I'm Hazel, it's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I have been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week we got the news that this upcoming reset will have patch 927. There's an official release date for the next patch of WoW, and it is August 16th, or this upcoming reset. 927 is a minor patch that has a pretty major change, the big one being the opening up of the auction house to be region-wide for commodities. So they've defined this as gems, herbs, flasks, consumables, and etc. And those things will be shared across the auction houses of every realm within a given region. So all North American realms will have a shared pool of herbs and potions and flasks and like armor kits and all that good stuff. Same thing for EU. All of EU realms will share an auction house for commodities with this upcoming week's reset. I am very curious to see how this goes over because I want to see A, if it's all going to break, and B, what it feels like to buy and sell those things on live servers once the dust kind of settles. They did supposedly stress test this on PTR. It flew under my radar, and I think it may have flown under some other people's as well. I don't know how effective the stress testing was. We'll see, because it's coming out next week for better or for worse. It's got to be like pretty broken for at least Tuesday, right? I wonder if I should stock up on raid mats just in case. It'll be fine, right? Another thing coming with 927 is the mobile auction house is coming back to the WoW Companion app. Blizzard put out an interesting post talking about why it was retired in the first place, as well as showing screenshots of what the interface will look like. Note that for now, with the release of the new mobile auction house, you will not be able to use it to list items yet. The patch notes talk about how that's something that they want and it's coming eventually, but in the interest of getting this whole system out in a reasonable time frame, or with 927, you're not going to be able to list things on the mobile auction house right away, but you can cancel auctions, you can view them, you can buy them, you can add items to favorites, all that good stuff is going to be back on the app. The other thing in 927 is less of a big thing unless you are a very big fan of public chat channels. They're adding a new public chat channel for advertising services specifically, the intended goal, I guess, being to get people advertising boosts out of trade chat. It is unclear if advertisers have to use the new channel, if there's any like reason for them to do it. Are they going to be enforcing people advertising in the wrong channel? Or if it's just encouraged and it's just going to become something that nobody ever touches? We'll see. I mentioned in a previous video that I left public chat channels long ago, and that's a good reminder that that is an option for you. If you don't want to see those chat channels when you're in cities, you can always type /leave general or trade or whatever they call this new one if you don't want to have it as part of your chat box. Other updates to Live WoW this week. A hotfix went out that Warcraft devs tweeted making Cosmic Flux from Raid, Mythic Plus, and PvP drop at a 100% increased rate. Cosmic Flux, as a heads up, is not just for legendaries or catalyzing your 4-piece. Other ways I've been using it lately is to catalyze other pieces of random gear to collect more of the tier set appearances from Sepulchre. The appearance that it turns into is going to depend on the original item level of the piece you catalyze. So by catalyzing lots of different stuff, you can collect like the different recolors of the Sepulchre tier set if that's what you wanted. You can also use Cosmic Flux to purchase a full set of 278 conduits. No strings attached. It costs 10,000 Cosmic Flux. You can do it at your Covenant vendor. There's one of them in Oribos on the end of the Enclave. But for 10,000 Cosmic Flux, you can get yourself a full kit of 278 conduits. And there's no requirement there. So your alts can do this as well. And you can mail Cosmic Flux to your alts using a bind an account satchel that can be purchased here. I've forgotten, but I will dig it up for the footage that I included in this video. So if you're running around with sub 278 conduits, go fix that. And if you don't have the Cosmic Flux to fix it yet, then this hotfix should help you. Other things this week, good currency news, the Conquest cap has been removed rather early. Blizzard posted this week talking about how they're removing the Conquest cap for PvP Season 4 and reactivating the Spoils of War buff, which increases Conquest and Honor gains in instanced PvP. This is very nice for anybody that's trying to put together a PvP set, and much earlier than they've done it in the past. Also, while we're talking about PvP, a reminder that this season's Vicious mount is the Vicious Warstalker, and it's gorgeous. It's hard to, like, think about riding ground mounts, but I know we're going to get, like, dragons that can fly and dragon ride and stuff. But it's a pretty mount, and these changes should make it easier for anybody to put together a gear set that they might use in pursuit of it. Over in the Dragonflight Alpha, they have once again adjusted the dragon turn rate tech, this time pulling it back in a little bit to make them turn a little bit sharper. Not as sharp as they had originally, but sharper than they were turning last week. It feels pretty decent to me, and as it's still alpha, it's something they could continue tuning with feedback. They also changed the Soar cooldown for Drakthir. Soar used to be a 5-minute flat cooldown. It has now been changed on alpha to be a flat 4-minute cooldown that can be further reduced to 3 minutes if you have fully explored a zone. For context, Drakthir have a racial that makes them fly faster when they have fully explored a zone, so it's nice that that's going to also tie into their Soar cooldown. Other stuff in alpha, we got Warlock talents, we got a new zone, we got a couple new dungeons to test. The Dragonflight testing in general has been chugging along pretty smoothly. I'm still very much waiting to see the rest of the UI overhaul. They add a little bit more to it every week. We are now able to move the cast bar, but I really want to see something done to nameplates in particular, so I've got my fingers crossed for that. Other stuff, they've been rolling out hotfixes to nerf various aspects of Season 4 Mythic Plus dungeons to try to bring them a little bit more in line. Zul'Gamux's Blood Barrier in particular will cast less often now, which is good news for everybody. Now that Season 4 has been out for a little bit and these keys have kind of had a week or two to breathe, I feel a lot better about Mythic Plus in Season 4. I feel like I've kind of gotten a lot more used to the various mechanics. A lot of people have. The dungeons are generally going quite a bit smoother as people have had time to kind of learn the basics. And I've been having a lot of fun. It's nice having fresh dungeons to play. I am now up to 1830 something score in my Keystone Master pursuit, and you only need to get to 2000 rating to get Keystone Master this season because there's only 8 dungeons. So it feels pretty forgiving, especially if you get like 1 or 2 really good runs, like you time a 16 or a 17 or 2. That's going to give you quite a bit of leeway that you can use so that you don't have to run a 15 of every single dungeon to get your Keystone Master. So I see lots of people running around on the purple Keystone Master mount already. One thing that really did help me though this week was I went back and I downloaded the DBM packs for BFA, WoD, and Legion, which was very useful because that added back in DBM boss alerts for those dungeons. And you never know how much you've learned to rely on the little diddle sound until you don't have it anymore and you have to look for things with your eyes, which is harder. And then in my life this week, I finally have now achieved a goal of having less hair. I had some of it professionally removed. It sounds dire when you say it like that, but I'm super happy with it. This feels really, really good. And I am changing my stream schedule up a little bit. I'm committing to longer streams on weekends, so 3 hours up from 2 on Saturdays and Sundays, and possibly other days if I have time, although I'm mostly committing to weekends. But then I'm going to take Tuesdays off to match with Monday, so I get like a little weekend. I'm excited. And questions for this week. Lydia wants to know, how easy will it be to switch professions in Dragonflight after leveling 1 up? If I work on alchemy, then switch to leatherworking, then switch back, will I lose all my progress? Will I have to start from square one? So I had no idea, but I went on to alpha and I tried it because I also wanted to know. What I found is that you will, when you abandon a profession and then reacquire it later, you will need to relearn recipes and regain your skill, like your basic Dragon Isles alchemy, like 1 through 25, 1 through 100. That gets completely wiped and reset. However, once you get to 25 skill again, which is the skill threshold required to access the specializations, your knowledge and your progress in the specialization tree was retained. Now, this is just alpha, and to my knowledge, they haven't put out a post about this or anything, so this could change for better or for worse. But right now on alpha, that's how it works. Your profession recipes are not saved, your skill is not saved, but your knowledge and your specialization are. And those are really the more difficult parts to attain. Getting your skill back up is not such a big deal, and I don't think that recipes are going to be the super hard to acquire part of professions anyways. I think most of that's going to be the knowledge, I think. So it seems like good news. And Pandacorn wants to know, I pretty much missed seasons 1 through 3 because life and university gets in the way. How difficult would it be to start joining season 4? I do not think it will be that hard. There's pretty good catch-up mechanics in the game right now, such as the thing where you can just buy a full set of maxed out conduits with Cosmic Flux. I think if you get yourself out to Zereth Mortis and you do Zereth Mortis content, that's going to get you kind of off the ground into the 240, 250-ish range, particularly if you are keeping up with world bosses. You're going to get your legendaries there, you can get your conduits caught up, like I said, and that should get you off the ground and into content pretty quickly, relatively speaking. I think it's a really fun season, and if you have time for it, you should go for it. And that has been the week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions for a news video, please pop it in the comments of the most recent one and include the word question to help me find it. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.